Hello. I want to talk about Apple's Apple Intelligence advertising campaign and why it makes me feel uneasy. I've been trying to figure this out for a little while. And my conclusion, I think because it implies that technological intelligence can adequately substitute for other forms of emotional, linguistic, sensory, creative, interpersonal intelligence. Do you remember that iPad advert that was out a while ago that kind of received a lot of backlash, where I think what they were trying to say was the new iPad, which is the thinnest one ever, has integrated all of these ways of expressing ourselves and creating artistic forms of expression into this one device. But instead it said, we're here to crush all tactile sources of creativity, art, and self-expression. Did they mean that deliberately? I don't know. I mean, the advert's called Crush, so maybe they're hiding that in plain sight. But I've kind of detected a similar tone in this latest AI campaign, the Apple Intelligence campaign. I don't know if you've seen any of the adverts from it, but it really extends from crushing creative tactility to these forms of intelligence, sensory, interpersonal, creative, emotional tactility from everyday life. What I want to know is, why are the benefits of AI so often packaged as tools for perception management and deceptive practices? I think this is why so many people, are resistant to a lot of this stuff. We see it sort of touted and used as a way to pass something off as something else. Making the most out of other people's ignorance of the technology. It's like, I see what I can get away with here. And to, cause people to believe something that isn't true, or it's not happening in the way that they assume that it is based on what they know already about things similar to this. And I think this campaign contributes to that. And as such, to the sort of perpetuation of this weird post-truth reality that I think would just be so nice to get beyond. I don't know how you feel about it, but so we'll go through some of it. I stumbled on this article on designrush.com, which describes the campaign, the ads that Bella Ramsey is involved in. I think there's 3 of them. And this post just made me laugh, so I thought I'd use it and read it out because it's clearly just copied and pasted from ChatGPT. Some of the words and phrases just made me chuckle. So, it's strange. I mean, there's an author credited on the post. So either that's just a name for a synth, or maybe this guy's been trained by generative AI to produce stuff that sounds like ChatGPT. Maybe it's gone the other way around. Or perhaps just popping a prompt into ChatGPT is all the skill you need to be credited staff writers these days. I don't know. Maybe we could get a ChatGPT bingo card. There's no delving, I don't think, in this article. Classic word. There's a whole bunch of other stuff. See if you can spot it. So Apple has tapped on Game of Thrones and The Last of Us actor Bella Ramsey to star in a set of ads for the new iPhone 16 Pro. Helmed by TWA Media Arts Lab, the spots place the actress in 3 awkward pinches that showcase Apple Intelligence's new capabilities. Directed by Emmy Award winner David Shane, with support from Academy Award-winning cinematographer Eric Messerschmidt, the ad series will run across broadcast, cinemas, online and social. Ramsey, who has already starred in multiple critically acclaimed hit series at only 20 years of age, brings her acting prowess to the new campaign. The first spot sees the young actress in a tough spot as her fictional family gathers over a tiny grave to mourn the death of her sister's beloved pet fish. Yes, that's definitely ChatGPT. Her father begins to give a terrible eulogy, hilariously getting the fish's name wrong and stumbling over his words.
I loved the way that Fishy would...
Swimmy.
Where'd I get Fishy from? Of course, Swimmy. I remember one time he went down to the bottom and I thought, can't be coming back up again.
All right.
Bella has a quick solution to the problem, creating a memory movie using Apple Intelligence. Okay, so we don't really have time to get into the incompetent dad trope that's playing out in this advert, which kind of irritates me a bit. The rather strange way that it sort of defaults to dad as the priest in charge of the pet cemetery for some reason. Is that a kind of realistic scenario? Seems, just a bit outdated. And I don't think there's necessarily much wrong with the use of this, the use of technology in the way that it's used in this advert, but there's also no real need to be using it in this kind of way. Why not just say like, should we create a slideshow and get all the pictures of Swimmy, isn't it? Not Fishy. And we'll watch it together as a way to remember him. I don't know. It doesn't need to be some kind of secretive thing or some like, quick, let's do this as if this was what we play. Like, it's fine. It's one of those situations that I think it'd be more meaningful if you're just sort of cobbling things together as you go together. And there's another version, or like a sort of parallel version of this that showcases the same technology, which I think I do find this one slightly more troubling or a bit like, oh, what's going on here?
Happy birthday, Dad.
Happy birthday.
I got you something.
We said no gifts.
We had to get you something.
And it's when Mum forgets Dad's birthday, and she uses a memory movie AI thing to create a slideshow, which then she passes off as her gift to him. Are we meant to believe that he believes that she's spent ages lovingly creating this for him?
This is from me to you.
I don't know. Because we can hear at the start, he says, I thought we said no presents, as his daughters come and bring gifts to him at the start of the day. But they have these gifts that are kind of, I guess, creative outpourings of what he has taught them in woodworking skills over the years. That's kind of sweet. There's a nice, loving family vibe here. Again, definitely a bit of dad tropey stuff happening. But what I can't work out is what's going on with Mum. She seems a bit distant and maybe even a bit resentful of what, when one of the daughters says,
"Did you do this yourself?"
Yeah, I had a great teacher.
She sort of does this face that is like she really resents her daughters or something, or the relationship that they have with him. Then she kind of barges in on the situation, having been out of it. And then she barges in and sort of foists the phone into the middle, sets it playing, and then kind of walks away. So it's like she's there and she's not there, and she's really distant. And I'm kind of confused about the message here. Why couldn't she just be honest? We agreed no presents, but we just wanted to sort of do some creative stuff that is meaningful for you. So, this daughter engraved your hammer. This one built a box. And I've, just sort of my phone allows me to do this. So I've created this slideshow that we can sit down and watch together. But instead there's like this secrecy. There's like, she's discreetly tapping the prompt in and then like, this is from me to you. I just don't really get the purpose of it. I don't understand why it needs to be like that. And I think what makes me uneasy is like the values that are underpinning this kind of thing. Like maybe it's Apple's deeper foundational assumptions that life is a competition, and that technology helps us get ahead, or it makes life easier so that we can make people believe that we've put effort in when we haven't, or that we've been more part of a process than we actually have. And so here, this isn't really from me to you. No time, care, and thought has gone into this. I haven't ever watched it. I don't know what Apple has come up with here. The technology is fine. It can be used. It can be enjoyed. That's great. I don't think this is about that. But it's not a painstakingly created photo album, is it? And so, as well as the deception piece, it's kind of the being aware of the stealing of joy that is present here. Not to overstate it, but like, if you've ever created a mixtape, for example, or, put something together for someone else that sort of displays a real sense of something that you've thought through and you've taken care over, then you'll know the joy of doing that, and how much like pride can go into that, like positive pride. Inserting our humanity into the process. It's the source of stuff that actually feels really, really meaningful and memorable, rather than kind of just offhandish and fleeting. I think, you create something meaningful and give that as a gift. That's going to be remembered in the future. Oh, that was the birthday that we created this incredible slideshow for Dad, as opposed to, oh yeah, that was I think I just tapped in a prompt and gave it to him and went and did something else. I don't know, that generic AI thing. As I say, it's weird to me that so many of the benefits that we are given and sold about everyday AI technologies is this kind of low-key deception. This other advert, Write Smarter, takes this to a whole other level. Apple Intelligence professionalizes this guy's messages, turning, I think there's like the remnants of his humanity, the aspects of who he is as a person, takes those, crushes them, and leaves this kind of life-sucking, corporate, soulless, cold message that is somehow, and it goes against what I thought Apple would ever be promoting. Thinking back to their sort of I'm a PC, I'm a Mac days, and actually you've got, what this technology does is turn you from a Mac into a PC, as would have been depicted in that kind of the boring corporate suited tie wearing person. Like, you're appeasing that, and that, I don't know, it just doesn't seem sort of congruent with that creative part of Apple that they've always prided themselves on. And so, yeah, I think there's a weird mixed message here as well, and probably an unintentional message, that because Warren, the guy he's kind of depicted as having a lot of time on his hands, and maybe that's because he's using AI and it's working for him. He's working smarter. He's writing smarter. He doesn't have to do as much because he's not actually doing it. He's like, putting in some prompts, and Apple Intelligence is doing the rest. I mean, this should concern anyone with an office job, because what Apple is essentially communicating here and insinuating is that people are more or less superfluous to proceedings. If we're to celebrate Warren, if we're to say Warren is a genius, and that's what we're sort of getting the impression here through these adverts, is these people who are utilizing Apple Intelligence technology are genius. But actually, if the very little work that Warren does is corrected and professionalized by AI, then I don't think he's got much longer left in this job. And I think the scariest thing is Jay is easily impressed by Warren's sort of useless blandness. He wants messages that sound like they've been written by robots. So unlucky Warren, I'm not sure things are going to pan out quite as well as you think they are. Ultimately, I'd quite like to see this advert, the sequel. Warren's chair is empty. He's gone. And the whole office has been replaced by bland computers. But yes, here again we see AI being used to create an illusion and to crush the human voice, to pacify, to extract, to extinguish all the playfulness and creativity that went into his original message. Yeah, it might not sound very professional, like, it needs more zhuzh, whatever. But he's a human. We need humans. What Apple's saying is we can help turn humans into machines. Don't worry. Yes. Speaking of which, let's check back in with the article about Bella Ramsey's campaign. And Yeah, here it is. A second spot finds Ramsey in a lunch meeting with her agent, who asks for her thoughts on a pitch that was emailed to her. Ramsey, who clearly hasn't read the pitch, gets a bit of help from Apple Intelligence's email summary feature. At the touch of a button, the phone provides her with a short summary to bring her up to speed. Quickly reading the summary, she hilariously, I love the use of that word, that's a telltale sign of ChatGPT. Always adds hilariously, especially if you want to make something a little bit more playful or humorous. It will say hilarious japes and quips. She hilariously covers up for her mistake and pretends to know all about the pitch.
Here we are. Very Victorian, which I loved. Unique relationship is formed. I love unique relationships.
With a twist.
I know, because I read it.
Great. I'm going to tell them you're interested.
Now, I really don't understand this one. This doesn't make any sense. And maybe I've just completely missed the point of this one, but it was the first one I saw, and it was the one I was like, what's this about? And I was confused at the time, but I've become more perplexed the more I've seen it and the more I've thought about it. Because here we're seeing technology as a tool for deception and a rod for your own back. Like you're not making life easier in the long run. Because surely the point of reading pitches is so you can decide, you can take an active position in the process of deciding whether or not you're interested in a particular role. And so you can declare an interest in it, or you can audition for it or whatever. Is that not the point of this kind of? But what happens here is she's like reads this. She's like, oh no, I haven't actually read that. I'll pretend that I've read it because that's what we do, because we're in the sort of deception game. And I will read this sort of bland summary of what the pitch said and just repeat what that AI is giving me, and I'll put a positive spin on it. Oh yeah, I like that. I like unusual relationships or whatever it is. But why? As I said, have I missed something here? She's basically agreeing to do something she doesn't know anything about and hasn't filtered. Maybe that's how Bella ended up agreeing to be on these adverts. I don't know. That summary bit seems pointless. She could have just said like, I did read the pitch. It sounds great. And that would have the same impact, because the agent would be like, okay, cool, I'll tell them you're interested. And we'd be done. You don't need to do that little bit of dancing around pretending that you know I don't know, because you're not having to prove yourself to the agent. It's just the agent is like, do you want me to tell these people that you're interested in this project? Yeah, sure. Might as well just tell anyone who gives any interest, like who pitches anything to me, that I'm interested, because I'll do this for everything. I don't know. Oh, and a thought on the fourth wall breaks. Like each of these adverts has this fourth wall break at the end where the protagonist kind of looks directly at us down the lens, as if to say, I think the idea is like, yeah, I'm a genius. And I don't know, I've started seeing it as a cry for help. It kind of changes it. If you watch it and you think, oh, this person's like stuck in this, trapped in a bland and soulless Apple universe, this hellscape. And they're sort of saying, can you help me get out of here, please? I prefer that, because I really don't like that fourth wall break. It makes me like, stop looking at me. And then the final ad showcases the upgraded Siri. So we're back to that article, which is now more personal than ever. It finds Ramsey at a party where she struggles to remember the name of someone she met. She turns to her iPhone to ask Siri for the name of the guy she met at a cafe.
Siri, what's the name of the guy I had a meeting with a couple of months ago at Cafe Grinnell?
You met Zach Wingate at Cafe Grinnell.
Siri responds by pulling up a calendar entry from a few months ago, highlighting the feature's enhanced capabilities. Okay, that's potentially quite useful, isn't it? But the issue for me here is not remembering someone's name. And I think it's kind of like is there any point in this? Or like, is this the best application of this? Actually remembering where I know people from is a bigger issue. So like, you walk into a party, it's, I know that person. I recognize that person's face. Where do I know them from? Also, if I can remember meeting someone, I might not necessarily remember where I met them, or the name of the cafe. If I can remember, we met in a cafe. I wouldn't be able to remember the name of the cafe. And, this is a me issue. I'm really bad at remembering things anyway. But I think this sort of creates a far too simplistic scenario for real life. And the advert itself is kind of weird. So she goes into this party. This guy recognizes her, waves, and she just backs off. She runs away. And if I'm that guy, I'd take the running away as a sign that, oh, right, I won't, walk over and try talking to Bella, because there's a firm boundary there. She can run away. The whole thing puts a strange level of importance on Zach being the main thing. If she can remember the meeting, she can probably remember some of the substance of what they talked about and that kind of thing. So, the stuff that actually you bring up as you reconnect in a conversation. So rather than just weirdly saying, Zach, yeah, you're Zach. When I saw you, I thought, that's Zach. Zach he's got a distinctive walk. I know Zach.
Hey!
Zach!
Oh, wow, I didn't think you'd remember me.
Yeah, of course. As soon as I saw you, I'm like, it's Zach. Nobody walks like Zach.
Just say, oh, hi, good to see you again. Maybe sort of ask about something that you talked about last time. Like, how's that been going since we last spoke, or whatever? Just like normal things. I don't know. You can remember like someone and have a meaningful conversation, even if you can't remember their name. And maybe use this to look it up afterwards. It's like, I've had many situations where I'd be talking to someone somewhere and have a decent conversation with them and have no idea. I can't remember what their name is. Go away afterwards and find out. It's like, yes, that's who it was. But you don't need that before you can have a conversation. And the idea of needing a name for a conversation, I don't know, it just feels weird. And maybe I've had too many conversations with people who overuse my name in seemingly manipulative kinds of ways. And it feels like, can you stop saying my name, please? But yeah, because Zach doesn't use Bella's name. It doesn't seem like a reciprocal or a collaborative connection here. And I think that's what really sums up all of these things, all of these adverts. There's a lack of connection or a lack of desire for connection by anyone who are using these products or showing these products in use. As I say, it's all perception management, it's performance, it's pretense. And at worst, it's like manipulation and deception and fakery. It's as if we're introducing the iPhone as like a magic wand, like a wizard would use, not a wizard, a magician would use a magic wand. I mean, wizards do as well, but when we're talking about not real magic, sort of illusionists, magicians, they'll use a wand for tricks and illusions and sleight of hand and that kind of thing. That's part of this performance that gives on the surface something that isn't true behind the scenes. And I think that's it. And there's this lack of depth as well that comes across in all of these things. And that's really what gets me more than anything. I want more depth. I don't want to be pretending that I'm reading emails, pretending that I'm, writing in a certain way, or like I want to learn and, with pretending that I'm creating slideshows and writing music and doing all of these things that the technology does for you. Like I want to learn how to do that stuff properly. Like that, there's craft here. And I think that's the thing that really speaks to me most, or concerns me most, is the lack of depth and the promotion of this shallow surface level existence that also removes the human from the from the process and the humanity from the human. Technology can really assist us and help us and bring that depth if we want it to, if we sort of use it in that way, and promote the kind of creation of technologies that allow us to deepen our intelligence, our emotional intelligence and connection, our sensory intelligence, our relational, interpersonal intelligence. But I'm not sure that any of this really does that. And I think it, in fact, sort of does the opposite. It sort of disconnects us from those things that ultimately give life meaning and shape and purpose and, just joy and love and all of those good things. Anyway, what do you think? Do I need to chill out and loosen up? Maybe. Have I gone too far into this rabbit warren of my own overthinking again? It's like, it's just an advert, mate. Forget about it. It's fine. Or do you agree? Is there something about this that is symbolic of something more? Apple, alongside many of these tech companies, trying to take us on a journey into a bland, dehumanized world that, I don't know, looks rather bleak and dystopian in my view, all of this stuff. And the level of deception and hierarchy, competitive viewing of, I'm going to use my technology to get ahead or do something better than you, or I don't know. What do you think? Holler back in the comments. I hope Warren's okay. Hope he's able to find himself another job. Poor Warren. All right, bye.